Pope Francis, and I really liked it, and I thought I'd give it to you guys. You know, fasting, other ways that you could fast. We learned the other time about the 20 things we give up for Lent. And these are the other things that you could fast from: hurting words, sadness, anger, pessimism, worries, complaints, pressures, bitterness, selfishness, grudges, and from words, and be silent. Just, you know, if you have nothing good to say, that's the saying we have, right? If you have nothing good to say, just don't say anything. Okay? Very practical is perfect. I said, you know, I'm going to give this because sometimes we forget. Selfishness. It's called fasting, not doing that, you know. And it's a good thing. It breaks our bad habits. Lent is a good time to break bad habits. How do you do that? It gives you the antidote. The next sentence, it says, you know, it says, fast from hurting words and say kind words. So he gives you the opposite. You know, this is how you break the bad habit of saying bad words. Here's the antidote: say kind words. That's the only way you break bad habits, is by substituting, replacing them with good habits. You can't just go cold turkey and then stop it. It's hard. It's a habit. You just have to replace it. That's what it's saying. Now, speaking of the cross, I have this cool handout, and I've been giving this out for years. I don't know if I'll give it out, but anyway. And this has been going around for years. Laminate. Remember that? Did you get it? No? Laminate?
No, it's not looking familiar.
It's familiar because it's been around for years.
I don't think it's in my book.
Well, now you get
How
one.
about that?
You know? Okay, so maybe I didn't get it already, so now you're glad you're here. I'm giving it out. Okay, it's been going around for years, and maybe I just dug it out. Anyways, and if you look in the back of it, it is a major protein, you know, a protein network foundation that promotes cells and organs. They're important and anybody have a copy? They're important biologically active part of the basal lamina, influencing, cell differentiation, meaning cells dividing and forming organs. Migration, adhesion, as well as phenotype and survival. They are trimeric proteins, all this technical stuff, okay? Now, 14, or what else? Here it is, about the middle of the second paragraph. The trimeric proteins intersect to form a cross-like structure that can bind to other cell membrane and extracellular matrix molecules. The three shorter arms are particularly good at binding to other laminin molecules, which allows them to form sheets. The long arm is capable of binding to cells, which helps anchor organized tissue cells to the membrane. I mean, I already have so many key words here. The laminins are a family glycoproteins, integral part of structural scaffolding. Structural scaffolding in almost every tissue of an organism. You know, it is vital for the maintenance and survival of tissues. Defective laminins can cause muscles to form improperly. And then you go on and reading. Networks. They also bind to cell membranes through the integrin receptors and other plasma membrane molecules, and etc. Anyways, okay. Pathology. Dysfunctional structure. It could cause for a form of congenital muscular dystrophy. Okay, and all those includes the brain and muscle fibers. All this technical stuff is interesting, but look at the structure. It's a cross, and it's an essential, you know, protein. And all the keywords there, it binds. You know, it's a structural scaffolding. It's essential for maintenance and survival. What does that tell you? I mean, I was just blown away. This is years ago. You know, I dug up my original, and that's why you have it now. But, yeah, it's been going around for years. And you have all those in the medical field, you have all this technical stuff there, but isn't it interesting that even in our basic structure, obviously God made us, but that's the microscopic, appearance right there. And there's all the technical stuff, chemical, illustration of it. Isn't that interesting? It's a cross. So you can make a lot out of this. Jesus himself, binding, the unifying factor for all of us. He is the answer. He's the scaffold. The structural, the integrity, the binding, and essential for survival, and any defect in it cause all kinds of problems, And it's very interesting. You could build a whole lesson on this and talk to medically inclined people, and they would understand the importance of this. What is protein? Another basic thing for our own existence, our own survival, our own lives. I just found it very interesting. Okay? I see all the words here, binding, domain. Everything's in binding here. Right? All the labels and the chains and stuff is in the form of a cross. It is so interesting. Anyways, are there any questions? Okay, like last week we had our little quiz, but I called it reinforcement exercise. Is there anything there that you want me to explain again or clarify, or if you have any insights in all of those? Because you got the basics of the faith, basically. Obviously, it's just a short questionnaire that you got last week. Because if not, I'm gonna go on the list. I will always come back to the nucleus. Oh, thank you so much. I've never seen that.
Well, if it does that again, we may never see it.
There you go.
Shoot under the desk.
I should put it here. Well, you still have your copy of that questionnaire?
Yep.
Yeah. Did everybody here get 100% from when we were answering everything last time? The first questions are very basic. That's why I wanted to get that out of the way, The Trinity, the natures of Christ, Immaculate Conception. Those are just things that are always misunderstood. Like obviously a good example, and I'm not putting them down, but when it comes to the Trinity, be careful. Because if you have the Jehovah's Witnesses, then they would always, challenge you as far as the Trinity. And then you have Latter-day Saints, and they use the word Trinity, but they do not mean one God, 3 persons, they mean 3 gods. Okay. So, and I think they use the word sacraments also. They use bishops, they have people they call bishops and stuff. But I just want you to know that other places, you have the Protestant denominations, obviously you have Anglicans and Episcopalians, they have bishops, okay? But we do not recognize the succession that we attribute to the succession of the apostles, okay, to them. Their bishops do not recognize that they are direct successors of the apostles, although they use the term bishops, okay. They use a lot of Catholic terms, okay, but be careful of the definition. And I'm not putting them down, that's just how they are. In relation to how we define things, theirs would be different. but they did take it from us. A lot of the practices, obviously, because the reason we call the Catholic Church the Mother Church, it's the mother. It was the only Christian religion, for 1,500 years. And then Luther breaks away. Then you have all the others, Calvin, Wesley. Then you have, King Henry VIII, who was Catholic, broke away, made himself the king, the head of the church, only because he wouldn't be granted an annulment by, the Pope. So, the Mother Church then is the only Christian church of 1,500 years. Now, everybody that do not believe everything that she teaches, they have a question, they have a complaint. Instead of staying in to resolve the issues and help resolve the issues, they broke away. So it's like having your home here, mom and dad, and then this teenager who, does not conform or does not want to be within the rules. They want to do their thing, and, they have the right to do this and that. So they break away, but they take what they want, okay? Take what they like from the mother church or from the home, establish their own teachings. They can add or subtract, they have their own leaders, which are essentially their own popes, okay? So now they break away and they attract other followers, etc. So then you have the 10 families here, and then one member says, I could make my own, go and take my own Bible courses, and I will establish my own church. And so they break away, and they establish, open a suite, rent a suite in a mall somewhere, and then you have, over 40,000 denominations. Breaking away. That becomes the norm. If you don't like something, then you break away, start your own. Okay, directly opposing what Jesus prayed, what Jesus wanted to happen. He says that they all may be one. They all may be one. But no, they're splintering.
A few years back, before I retired at work, one of the people, she's very funny, she said, "Oh, what denomination are you?" I said, "Well, I'm Catholic. I'm not denominated."
Sounds good.
Why you be the least common?
So did you ask them what denomination they are?
Yeah, she's whatever, Methodist or whatever. She told me. And she was very friendly, but it was like an expectation. Oh, if you're a Christian, you have to be denominated.
Well, one big mistake that Catholics answer when they are asked, "Are you Christian?" and they go, "No, I'm Catholic." What a contradiction. If you are Catholic, yes you are, and you are fully Christian. You have the Eucharist. Okay? That's, a lot of us, I told you before, it's asked, what is wrong with the Catholic Church? The answer is Catholics. We don't know our faith, or we teach the wrong things. We don't know what we're teaching. And we are rude, we are disrespectful, we are as guilty as the next person, we have a lot of divorce, we have a lot of abortion. Yes, Catholics. That's what's wrong with the Catholic Church. Catholics that do not represent the church or Jesus well. We are all sinners, true. And you have all these very vocal politicians saying they are devout Catholics. They're openly, disobeying, where's my Bible? Disobeying, or propagating, or, being complicit in all the wrongs, that are being forbidden by the Word of God, by God Himself. And they tout themselves as devout Catholics. So everybody else that think the same way, well, if he or she is okay with them, then that's fine. Not investigating, not learning their faith. All of us, As baptized people, you know, we are supposed to learn as confirmed. Once you get your confirmation, you are supposed to be able to teach the faith. After confirmation, you are able to be sponsors to others who need to receive the sacraments. You can be godparents now. You know, some people are just now coming to the sacrament of confirmation because their brother or sister are asking them to be a godparent to their niece or nephew. And well, what were you doing before that? I didn't need it. Why are you coming now? Because I was asked to be, you know, the godparent. And then what happens if they don't get the catechesis, the learning of the faith? They go to the ceremony and then that's it. They haven't realized their duty to raise the kid in the faith, help the parents, you know, raise the kid in the faith. Once you're confirmed, you're supposed to be able to teach the faith. And you don't have to be a theologian. Every resource is there for you to teach the faith. If all you could do is look at the catechism, here's the answer to your question. You are a confirmed person. You need how to research. You know how to research. You know how to look things up. Get that. If you don't know the answer, you know where to go. But confirmation, that's what the sacrament is for. You have become, you know, as baptized persons, you have the mission to go out. Obviously, you can't do that when you're 7, 8, 10 years old. But even then, being raised in the faith, the children are excellent teachers by the simplicity of their faith. You know, when we say, you know, out of the mouth of babes, they have some wisdom. Their faith is so pure. Now, if that is because of being raised the right way, you know, in the way of the Lord and the church, the children, you know, we have to be conscious of what we teach them and what we show them. A lot of times we don't need to say anything. They see what we do. Our actions speak louder. These kids internalize, you know, and then they are able to express in very simple words the truth. We learn a lot from them. A lot of times. Remember the Lord said, until you become a little child, you cannot enter heaven. It doesn't mean childish. It means, you know, the simplicity, the trust of the child towards their parent. We show this trust to the Lord. You know, this faith and trust in Him. This total dependence on the Lord is what He means. You know, if we don't educate ourselves to imbecility, like I said before, we become experts and now we don't need God. See, the pride. I know all these things. I've been educated. You know, I'm a scientist. Therefore, I don't need God, right? So you become so learned. The Lord is saying, become a child once more. You know, trust in me, believe in me as a child that would, their entire life is dependent. A child being thrown in the air by dad, you know, they're laughing and, you know, complete trust that their dad will, you know, catch them. That's how the Lord wants us to be. Complete dependence on His love, on His power.
One of the examples I saw in church at St. Anne's was this Sunday. It just blew my mind. This gentleman, big guy, you know, Keith and these other guys, big, and he was carrying his little son. Could have been
Yeah.
3 or 4,
Yeah.
right? And he was going to communion, and how the little boy was going like this.
Yeah.
I mean, it just blew my mind that the parents were teaching him, you know, who's he going to, and this is the proper way until you receive the Lord. That just got me. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah. And then they're
It's
going
just-
down so solemn and so respectful. It does. It
There's
warms
hope.
your heart. It warms your heart, you know. Anyways, it's almost time. But I want to go through this quickly, but obviously you're going to read this, right? Mother Angelica, EWTN, she passed away, 2 years ago? But she founded that global Catholic network, the only one of its kind, 24/7. Nobody can touch it, it's so big. I mean, a great resource. Because of the Eucharist, Blessed Mother, Mother Angelica, her congregation is called what? Poor Clares. of perpetual adoration. They're cloistered nuns, meaning, they're not out in the public, cloistered. So they only have, their mother superior and maybe one or two extern nuns. They're the ones that go get groceries. They're the ones that greet visitors. They're the ones that could greet the public. The others are behind the grill. Their lives are, hidden from the world. You know what their charism is, or what they do? Is to pray in front of the Blessed Sacrament. So 24/7 they have somebody in front of Jesus in the tabernacle or exposed in the monstrance. They have at least one sister nun there, one or two probably, but there's always someone with Jesus praying for who? The whole world. So we have different orders like this. Their main duty is to pray for the whole world, the body of Christ, okay, in front of Jesus. Okay. Now she, the Mother Superior, a cloistered nun founding a TV network, figured that one out only by the miracle, by God. Anyways, Eucharist, obviously they are rooted in the Eucharist. So I love these, points, the Eucharistic truths. There is no prayer so high. Eucharistic suffering. Lord God, help me to abandon the preoccupations. This is Calvary. I feel sick today, my head throbs. This is all Mother Angelica. She's going to be a saint one day. Eucharistic mercy, Eucharistic humility, Eucharistic courage. You see, everything is rooted and all traced to the Eucharist. Eucharistic courage, Eucharistic love, patience, companionship, forgiveness, time, resurrection. Okay? And this is from her book. She wrote a lot of books before she even started the TV network. They have the newspaper also, which is Catholic Register. They have every kind of social media. They are in everything. They are doing what St. Paul would have done. If St. Paul were alive, and if he was, in any capacity to all the, the current technology, he would have invented a lot of stuff. St. Paul would have, okay? This is technology being used the right way. Not all social media is bad because they are in YouTube, they're in Twitter, they're in everything. They are evangelizing the world. Obviously she's gone, but she established a network and all these faithful people in there, priests and lay people and converts. If you haven't even started watching EWTN every Monday night at 6 p.m., and it has reruns in the mornings, and I don't know which day, it used to be every day at 10 or 11 nowadays because of the time change. But now it's different programs, but it used to be every day at 11. I mean, I'm glued. But it's a different convert each time that they're interviewing. Okay, so some people have no cable, you can go to the internet, obviously, EWTN.com. And Monday, I'm telling you, because you are converts to the faith, and all of us are converts, we have conversion every day.
The Journey Home.
Journey Home Network, which is hosted by another convert, Marcus Brody, who was a Protestant minister. But it's every denomination, every faith background that have now converted, and their stories are there. They're being interviewed. They tell you, I never wanted to be Catholic. It wasn't even in the radar. I thought all Catholics were going to hell. I am not going to ever be a Catholic. And here they tell you the story of how they became Catholic. And they tell you, nothing will make me leave the Catholic Church.
There's a lot of them on forum.
On where?
Forum.
Form.org.
Yeah,
You
it's
got
awesome.
a list of all the websites, authentic websites that we gave you. And maybe I should give you an updated version. But the parish has subscribed to this thing called Formed, F-O-R-M-E-D, form.org. Get on that website, and then there's a code because the parish subscribes. We pay a subscription as a so that everyone that has the code, which I will give you right now, can access. I mean, you have movies, you have talks,
This
you
is the
have,
one I'm
I mean,
watching now,
form.org, okay?
Stations of the Cross,
Stations of the prayers, not everything else.
listening.
Anyways, if you have your pen, if you have the bulletin, PEHGT is the code for the parish, capital letters, PEHGT. If I'm wrong, correct me.
It
Is
sounds
it
right.
GH too?
PEHGT.
We have it on the website.
Where is your, get your website, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's on the website, the code. But you are gonna get so much information there.
Yeah.
The movies alone,
Yeah.
you know, forget all the other movies.
Rita, Joan of Arc.
So we need to discover most of those movies again. Anyways, PEHGT is the code,
The first letter T as in Peter?
yeah.
Okay, got it.
And if not, go to the website, it's there. Next week, we're gonna do the Station of the Cross, okay? Let's see, we're gonna go into adoration one of these times, our last 30 minutes. We're gonna join, adoration in the church.
You track down Journey Home, one of the episodes, look for Father Doug Laurie. Their former pastor was on that show.
Oh, and which one?
The Journey Home.
Oh, yeah. I have that one on VHS. I think I have it in, I think I have it now.
Digitally online, so they have it as
Yes.
archived as one of the shows.
I think somebody gave me the DVD version of it. Anyways, our past pastor, Father Doug Laurie, who was a convert from the Episcopal Church, who became a Catholic priest. He's married with children, okay? So anyways, his episode, he was at Journey Home, okay? So I'm not gonna keep you
There
long.
are also reverts too.
Who?
Reverts,
We have reverse.
yeah.
We have,
And that's a great one too. You see a lot of people coming back.
coming back to
That
the
have poor
church.
catechesis.
Which is, I have returning Catholics, I'm gonna get you either way.
Coming and going.
Just coming in, or you came in and went out and you're coming back, I'm gonna get you on both ends, okay? Anyway, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, we thank you for this time. We again lift up everyone of us and those we know and those we don't know, but need our prayers the most, Lord. You know who they are. So we lift everyone and everything up to you, Lord, because you are the Master. You are in control. We ask the help of our Blessed Mother and all the saints and angels, because without them, Lord, we would have no other guides. Thank you for the church. Thank you for the bishops, all the leaders that you have appointed and have given us, from the Holy Father down to our pastors. Thank you, Lord. Hail Mary,
Full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Glory be to the Father, to the Son, to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and shall be,